I'm Professor Thales Castro, and this is our last video of our first academic unit of analysis. On this video, we're going to be covering specifically one theme, one topic, which is predominantly IR epistemologies, IR theories. We can also call it international relations paradigms. And as we go through the slides and as we go through the readings, I would like to point out that there are two major debates in terms of international relations epistemologies. And the oldest of these debates, they're so-called the first generation of debates in terms of theories of international relations. And the first and oldest of these debates, they are a dichotomy in nature. They have two major pillars in terms of these epistemological debates. And these two pillars, they're focusing on the very nature and the very essence of decision making and what influences the decision making of national actors at the global level. We're talking about realism. We're talking about a specific IR school of thought that understands and defends that power, it's the very essence and the very nature of decision-making process at the international level. There are some theoretical influences out of this realism thought. I'm talking about specifically Thucydides, which wrote several years before the birth of Christ in the war of the Peloponnesian War. He wrote about power as being the greatest essence of any state, of any politically rational actors. I'm talking about Machiavelli, which more than 500 years ago wrote The Prince, which influences us today. In The Prince, Machiavelli has shown us the importance of being rational, power-hungry, and also understanding the dynamics of the public sphere. So these values, in conjunction with the analysis of the Peloponnesian War of Thucydides, and the paradigms defended by Machiavelli in The Prince, they are pretty much the ground level, the foundation of the realism thought. We can also use Thomas Hobbes, the English political philosopher of the 16th century, when he said that power is the very important element that feeds the Leviathan, the state. And when the state is formed, we establish a general contractual basis of relationship with the state. In fact, Thomas Hobbes, it is the first out of the three major contractualists philosophers. He's the first one, and he's a realist, by the way. The second of these philosophers is more of a liberal nature. His name was John Locke. And the third and last of these contractual philosophers was the Genevan-based French philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau, when he wrote in 1762 The Social Contract. But let's go back to Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes, as a very important realist thinker, he understood that power is the essence that feeds the state, and the state, when he receives in this contractual form our personal sovereignty, granted through a written constitution, a written document, the state has the role in establishing peace, order, and articulations within civil society to maintain it in a very stable mode. This is the realism. This is realism thought. Whenever we see states today, in the 21st century, try to engage themselves in war, trying to show a very strong military approach to international politics, these states are being guided to the realism thought. The second of these schools is the liberal school. It is also called the idealism school. It is based upon values. It is based upon international integration of international law. It's one of the major thinkers that influenced liberal, idealistic thought is Immanuel Kant, when he wrote specifically Perpetual Peace in 1795. He believed that the world would need to be guided and oriented by values, by norms, by the equality of states. He didn't understand that power-hungry strategies would be very effective in the long run. Kant believed in the integration of nations through a supranational entity which would be able to maintain peace, order, and stability. Idealism utilizes international organizations and international law and ethical norms to establish the homeostatic functioning of the system. Idealism, it is a very important school today, especially for those of you students that are currently undertaking law as your major career. International relations, it's more politically based as a realist thought, although we also considered idealism as a major school. These two schools, they represent the positivist theories, the major positivist theories. They're also post-positivist theories, which undertakes the analysis of the complexities and the multidimensionality of the phenomena, of the international phenomena, through various other areas, such as postmodernism, feminism, eco-politics, critical school. All of these schools I would highly recommend for you to read carefully, understand it thoroughly, because they represent the second and the third generations of major IR debates. So, with that in mind, I'm very confident that you will be able to take the first written essay